bóyá you get ìyàwó. Kódàbílé, 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 kódàbílé.
Hello.
Kódàbílé.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for starting the conversation.
The music is loud. The music.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You're all welcome. I was just waiting to have a pool of more participants, but all the group leaders and even group members, go back to your groups and boost up all of our participants. Tell them that they should join the meeting as soon as possible. We are just 39. We're supposed to have 40 more people, 30 more people join us. Right, so reach out to them now. Let's reach out to them and discuss with them. Okay, you're welcome, mommy. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
Let me announce to us that today is going to be a short day, everyone. Thank you, Melody. Thank you. Yes, Noshi, thank you. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to be recognizing those persons who are the first early comers to the class. I really commend all of you. I took note of all of you yesterday, those of you who came earlier, and I also took note of the persons who came earlier today. Maybe with time, I'm going to be, I don't know, anything can happen, so just look out. Look at anything can happen. Maybe there's a gift waiting somewhere for somebody. Maybe the person will even get data gift, we don't know. I'm sure that all of you will be excited to know what the person gets, right? Secondly, I'm even thinking we can have a social day, like on our class before we graduate. Remember, our training will end next week. So I'm thinking we can even have a social meeting, but we'll discuss that at the end of the class. Oh, Obida, it's okay. So we'll be discussing that at the end of the class today. So today is going to be a short day because one of our facilitators will not be chance to speak with us today. She made a quick flight, an emergency flight to Canada, and she thought she'd be able to do it there, just to discover that her return flight has been scheduled for the same time for our class today. So we'll be scheduling that for tomorrow. So today we'll only be having our mommy, Mrs. Anatu Ahmed Yaro. She's going to be sharing with us again from her wealth of experience. I'm sure many of us enjoyed her session yesterday. Today she's going to be talking about the rights of women and girls. So today officially we're starting the module on promoting women and girls' rights. And under this module, we have understanding the rights of women and girls, promoting female participation in governance and politics. We also have introduction to gender-based violence and effective advocacy for women and girls. So today we'll be looking at understanding the rights of women and girls, and I have the privilege of inviting our mommy Anatu Yaro. She's a gender specialist, and we have got the right person to take this session. Mommy, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Taking our session as brief as we already know her, and she'll be rounding up everything by 2 o'clock. Over to you, ma. You're welcome once again.
Thank you, Sharon. When I heard you talking, I said, well, I hope Sharon knows that I will exit.
Like I'm not hearing you.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Can somebody hear her? Please, if you can hear her, let me see it on the chat. Okay. Please go ahead. Everybody can hear you.
Okay.
Please go ahead. I think it's for my device.
Okay, sorry. I think I punched on something and...
platform designed to unite young people.
Sorry. Okay, are we together? Hello? Oh, I can't hear you because you've muted yourself.
We can hear you now.
You can hear me. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I would have loved to stay up to even if it's 10-15 minutes after my time. But maybe if people have questions and I'm not able to finish answering them today, we can take it up during tomorrow's session. Today, I want to talk to us about understanding. Sorry. Okay, I want to talk to us about understanding the rights of women and girls. Understanding the rights of women and girls. I want to start by looking at the fact that women's rights are human rights, because women are also human, girls are also human. So the rights of women are also human rights. The most and the foremost right for every human being is the right to live. Is the right to live. Everybody has the right to live. That's the first protocol you see in the UN, United Nations Charter. The right to live. Everybody, every human being has the right to live. And in the case of women, because women women rights are also human rights. When we talk about the rights, we are talking about the rights to live free, free from violence, from slavery, from discrimination. These are very important, from violence, from slavery, and discrimination. And in my subsequent discussions, I want to look at when we say the right to live free, what are we really talking about? Nobody's right should be violated. The same thing with the rights of the woman and the girl should not be violated. None of women should not be subjected to slavery. The women should not also be subjected to discrimination. Uh, and what are those rights expressed in different ways? There's the right to be educated. When you are talking about education, the woman and the girl are all supposed to be educated. They should stand the equal chance, equal treatment, either as teachers or as students. They should, or in terms of curriculum, the curriculum should not look perpetuate violence against women, should not perpetuate discrimination against women and girls. So we are not, when we talk about education, we are talking about a holistic education from the teacher, the students, the curriculum that brings them together under a condition of learning. So there shouldn't be violation there. There shouldn't be any form of discrimination when you look at that. Um, that's the right to be educated. The right to own property. Yeah, there's also the right to own property. A woman and a girl that can afford to buy a property should be allowed, because it's a right. It's a right. If the money is there that they can acquire, just like every other person, her price should not be higher or lower than others. If people are buying it at this price, then they should also they should also give the same thing. And then the law should also protect them and make sure that all the processes of acquiring land, uh, they all benefit the same thing. I remembered several years ago, uh, I bought a land and I wanted, when you buy land, definitely you do what you call deeds of assignment. That means the owner would cede the ownership to the new buyer. And then I asked somebody to go and take it to the lawyer so that that is done. And then the person came back to me and said, well, as a woman, I'm not supposed to own land. It's either my husband or my son. Thank God I know the law that gives me my right. So I spoke to him and told him, and then we went to see the lawyer. And then the lawyer said, no, that was not actually what he said. He never said anything like that, because at least he himself knows that as a woman, I have the right to own land. There are some communities that women cannot own land. I have done projects for DFID, and then in a particular community, uh, the women wanted a fish drying center. So we asked them to either buy land or uh, provide land so that the structure can be constructed there. Unfortunately, by the time we release the funding to the NGO to do it, the community people say, no, we never thought you are serious. How can women own land here? Women don't own land. And I can bet you by the time we finish the legal processes and getting the rights of women to own land, all the money that is meant for the project has gone for traveling from the state headquarters to the ministry, to the lands and survey, to Ministry for Women Affairs, getting them together to do the meeting so that they can push their case forward. But the good thing is that even though we didn't have a fish drying center in the community, in the 3 communities, but at least there's now clear understanding that women can own land. So that's what I mean by the right to own property. The right for political participation. I'm happy somebody asked me yesterday when I was talking about the issue of participation in politics, whether how did I go about asking my husband, my in-laws, my everybody in the community that I want to participate in politics. Well, my first fundamental human right is that I have the right to participate in politics, to vote and be voted for. And when that question was asked, I wish I had more time, but remembering that today we'll be talking about the women's rights, the understanding the rights of woman and the girl, is that it is my right to participate in politics. Probably because, well, my husband is also a close ally or a stakeholder, and my children, I need to tell them that this is the direction I'm focusing. And because I'm focusing on this direction, I need to provide some explanation of what I want to do, but not necessarily in terms of seeking for permission to participate. Yeah. And the same thing with my in-laws. I don't need their permission for me to participate in politics. Yeah. I need their support. Yes. 100% support. Yes. With resources. Yes. But not in terms of for them to have a meeting as to allow me to join politics, because I don't see myself doing that for my husband because he wants to participate in politics, that everybody should gather and then say whatever they want to say, either he should participate or not. And it's the same right. I also have the equal right to participate in politics. I need my in-laws' support, but I don't need their permission. Yeah. Then the right to health is also important. The right for dignity. There's dignity in labor. There's dignity in womanhood. In my subsequent discussions, we are going to look at some of these maybe more closely. And there's also the right to earn fair and equal wages. I want to look at generally the issue of rights for women and for girls. Girls, we classify them from 0 to 18, and then from 19 upwards, people become adults, they can vote, they can be voted for, they can register, they can have the PVC can be given to them. So these are the rights that a woman is entitled to, and the girls are also entitled to. Let me go back to the issue of education. It says that the world is better with education. The societies are better when you give them education, but much, much better when you give a woman education. So the right for a woman to acquire education is there. During my days, I remember in my village, I was the only girl going to primary school. I will walk with the boys for 2 miles then, and then back. And then when I come home, people will be saying, you want to be educated? You will get old and people will not marry you. All your children will be wasted before you start giving birth to them. What? They will have all the reasons why they think I shouldn't go to school. But I thank God I had a very understanding father who didn't see it the way they are doing. He insisted that, in fact, the girls' education is not even an issue for discussion. So he didn't even tolerated them. So I had my education thanks to him. And then there's also the issue of the type of education. The woman and the girl has the right to choose whatever type of education they want. I know that in those days, I wanted to join the army after my secondary school, and I was told that I'm a woman. I wrote an application, and then the brigade commander in Bauchi wrote me personally also a letter to say, unless if I'm a nurse, where my services as a medical person will be necessary, Otherwise, I will not. But I thank God that now the girls can also go to, can also apply and be enlisted as soldiers, and they are free to choose whichever course, just like the boys. So things are changing actually. And then that's in terms of education. Sometimes we find uh, there are barriers to the issue of education. Discrimination in terms of courses where girls will be allowed to read some things that they will close work early, or they will not be allowed to go through engineering courses is considered male. But now things have changed thanks to the conferences that women have been having to push their case, and then uh, all those barriers have been stopped. And then some of these barriers are actually due to outdated socio-cultural norms. You find out that when a woman wants to do something, they say, no, it's not our culture. I have, there was a time I was working with an NGO in Bauchi, and then we had to travel to then Gombe State, now Gombe State, but then Southern Gombe. And then we because we were to leave Bauchi around 2 o'clock. So we all of us will definitely go to a hotel and sit down and eat, so that we don't have to start eating on the way. And it was lunchtime. I was in the restaurant and we were eating. Then somebody from my husband's village came, and we greeted like usual. I greeted him. He didn't answer. I was shocked. Maybe he didn't see me. I went near him. It's like he just doesn't want to answer. So I just left him. After we ate and we went for the workshop, and we came back. And then the man came to our house and said, "That day I saw you eating in a restaurant." I said, "Yes." "Why do you have to go to a restaurant and eat? Uh, your house is here." I say, "If you have seen my husband eating in a restaurant, would you have complained?" He said, "Yeah, he would complain." I say, "Why?" He won't complain. I say, "Why?" He said, he's a man, he's supposed, you can eat in the restaurant. I said, "Well, my job also makes it impossible for me to come home and start cooking. So I have to also eat." And we had a lengthy discussion. He didn't agree, but I don't have to do what he wants to do. I have the right to eat anywhere. I don't even have to provide him with explanation, but I still try to do, because sometimes you have to help people's understanding on certain actions you take. So it's one of those discriminations. And the important thing also is the issue of knowledge, what is her right. If the woman doesn't know that it is her right, then in itself is a big issue. Uh, and if she knows, she has to know, yes, I have the right to education. I have the right to job. I have the right, for health. I have the right also to access money, loans. I have the right to manage. I have the right to do this. But it also depends. If she doesn't know, then her right can be trampled upon, or she can lose it if she doesn't know. Uh, I know that the issue of knowledge also has to do with also the protector. She has to know that if my right is violated, who am I supposed to talk to? Who is supposed to support me so that I get my right the way it's supposed to be? Because up to now, like in terms of education, we still have, in communities, we are still doing some enlightenment, so that parents get to understand that yes, girls can go to school, they are free to pursue education at whatever level. And the parents will always come, some of them will always come back and say, "Well, but religion says, she should get married and whatever." So if you don't know, if you don't have a knowledge of the verses they are quoting, then definitely you will give up your right and think that, well, they know better. But if you know how to read and write, then you can, wherever they quote, you can also go back and confirm from the religious point of view, because all the two religions have agreed that you can pursue education as far as China, and you can pursue education. So the issue of limiting a woman not to go to school is not there. It's her fundamental human right. We find also, like I said, the knowledge of her right. There's the issue of the violation of rights of women. The ones that readily come to view is the issue of rape, kidnapping, abduction, molestation, sexual harassment, torture while in police custody, or torture in communities, or homicide, forgery, or importation, like trafficking of girls. All these are violation of rights. Any action that one is forced to do without their own consent is considered a violation of the rights of a woman. I I have this interesting information. In the course of my work, 1994, we were gathering information on rights of people. And then I was given the task to look at the rights of the commercial sex workers and also the rights of the Fulani. And do they understand their rights? How do they relate to the government? I did that of the Fulani, but the most interesting one is with that of the commercial sex workers. Then we didn't have any gadgets to record their voices, and it was then unethical to record their voices or write while they are looking, because then they can just tell you what they think you want to know. They might not just be spontaneous, they might not be just willingly contribute information. So I befriend about 5 of them in Bauchi, and every day I would just grab some two of the questions, and then I will sit down and have some discussions with them. So I asked them what is their closeness to government. How do they think? What is their relationship with government? And under that, we have issues that will take them uh, either at conflict with the law or in agreement with the law. One of such was that I asked them, what is it that actually made them to join that profession? Because there are other professions that they could join. One of the things was that they were not they were not literate. So anytime one of them said she married 3 times and it was violence and violence and violence, she would divorce immediately. She gets back home. Parents will say, no, no, we don't want you to stay at home. You have to get married, and which is also a violation of her own right. She will jump into the next available person, not actually doing enough of scrutiny to make sure that, yeah, this is the right person she wants, until she married 3. At the end, she felt, no, I can't go on like that. Violence, no food. I have to stay in house, no. So she decided to join commercial sex work. The 4 of them also have similar stories. So uh, that was their reason. So I wanted to find out from them what is the most hazardous aspect of their job. And they say, well, the most hazardous aspect of their job, I was expecting they will talk about STDs, they will talk about HIV. 1994, actually, we were bringing movies from Uganda and other Central African countries about HIV, because then we didn't have enough experiences here. So we were trying to warn people that there's this disease called HIV. This is the method of whatever and whatever we wanted people to know, raising awareness. And then I was expecting they would talk about that. They said no. The most hazardous aspect of their job is that, to put it in their words, they say if they are lucky, somebody would want to stay for the night, and that means more money for them. But then it's not everybody out of 5 that would come that actually wanted to stay overnight, but they maybe want to harvest a human part, either gouge their eyes, cut their breast, or whatever they want to do. So, uh, so I became very curious. So what happens? They say, well, we live in a compound, we share intelligence. So when we hear a particular sound, a lady notices that she's in danger, there's a particular noise she makes. So everybody will leave their room, will jump into her room because we don't lock our rooms. And then we go there. If she's fainted, we insist the person has to do the needful, wake her up, carry her to the hospital and things like that. And well, So I said, when you notice you catch people that are there to harvest, what do you do with such people? They say, no, we make sure that she's okay, and then we just throw him out of, we ask him to go. I said, but what of the police? Don't you report such cases to police? They say, auntie, police. No, we don't report to the police. Why? They say, well, because the police themselves, when they are doing their night duty, checking from the targets, usually is they go to where the commercial sex workers are, so that they can catch thieves or people with dubious characters. So when they come, that's why we don't lock our doors. They enter your room. If they check if there's somebody there. If there's nobody there, they take turns to sleep with you. I said, the police, they said, yeah. And for me, that is the nearest government they have, but they don't have that confidence. This was 1994, 95. They didn't have that confidence that, their rights can be protected. So the issue of reporting to the police does not even arise. So uh, for me, that is a real violation of the rights. But then I asked them, what do you think people? They say, well, people think that we are, to put it in their words in Hausa, mu yan wuta ne. That means they are meant for hell. So for them, everybody has condemned them. So they have nobody to protect their rights, even if their rights are violated, which I think is not very proper, because there are better ways we can relate with them and help them. Uh, that's also another one differently. So that was one fundamental thing that came to my mind that time, that yes, her rights are not violated. But then 1981, I also had a similar experience. We were in a group of women, and then one of us was a prison warder. So every time she comes, she will say, please, I need some baby clothes, I need some women clothes. If you have, please, I want to take it to the female inmates. And we kept asking her, why do they need the government to put them there? So why is the government not supporting them? She would say, no, that's a different thing. So when we kept insisting, she said, okay, she will arrange one day so that we can go to the prisons to see for ourselves the female inmate. We were there. 5 of them were in the prison. One of them was already mentally deranged. She was violent, so she wasn't allowed to mix up with people. And then this woman, uh, the other 4. So we had the opportunity to talk to them. And then one of them had 3 kids, and they were really small kids. And we asked her for how long she has been in the prison. She said she's been there for 10 years. For 10 years, yeah. And then what of these children? She said she got them while she was there in the prison. You are here in the prison and you became pregnant. How did it happen? She said, well, uh, the male side will maybe talk to the male warders and tell them, well, please just pretend you forgot to lock up the side of the female. So at a particular time they will just rush in and sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. And that was how she became pregnant 3 times, and she kept giving birth. So we also saw that as a fundamental human right that was violated, gravely violated. Not only her own right, but the rights of those 3 children also have been violated. So when we talk about violation of women and girls' rights, we are talking seriously on issues that borders on somebody else's life existence. Because by the time we put her case up, she was acquitted and she went home. What of those 3 kids? Uh, how will they relate to the society? How would they feel the circumstances of their birth and whatever? And if they are not, they felt that the circumstances that brought about their existence is violated, they can afford to say, well, to hell with people. Nobody cared about us with our mother. She was there, people raped her, and then she ended up with 3 kids. And people, our society, they will keep referring to them as shaggy. This one is shaggy and whatever. So the tendency is the child can decide to be real shaggy because people refer to them as shaggy because of the circumstances of their birth. Nobody will look at it that everybody would want to be born in a different place. But sometimes the circumstances of our birth, we don't have choice to it. And that can, society also abuses that by calling some people shege and giving them some nicknames that when they feel hurt, they can decide to turn out and behave the other way around. And we all end up sharing in what we were not party to the making. So that in itself is to an extent that the violation of people's rights, women and girls' rights, can go. And then there's also the issue of I made mention of the right to own property, the right to own property. I participated as a staff in the loan scheme. I was a loans manager for my organization for about 9 years. And there are so many violation of rights that I saw for as little money as 200. We were given 200 was the least, 800 to 1,000 was the highest. And then we distribute after 1 year, we go and do the loans collection. And then during the loans collection, we want to know whether the job we're doing is actually helping these women. Is it helping them economically? Is it helping them culturally? Is it boosting their income? Is it putting more pressure on their time and energy at home? What is it, and how can we make it better with their own suggestions and recommendations? So when we do the general evaluation, we ask them general question: were you able to make profit? Everybody will chorus yes. And then when we wanted people to give individual experiences of their loan, they say, well, they become very adamant. So we felt, oh no, we need to change the evaluation method. So what we did was, one of the officers will be collecting the loans, the other one would be doing the evaluation questions. So which is by the side in each one. So there was this woman, I was asking her, I said, were you able to make profit? She said, no. She said, the day you gave me the loan, did you see this mark on she pointed at her neck. I said, I gave over 1,000 women loans, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know who has which marks where and whatever. So she said, the day you gave me the loan, my husband insisted that we have to share the loan. I have to give him half. And because I know he's not going to pay me back, so I argued and he beat me up. He threw all my things. I had to go home. And then at home, it was resolved that I should give him half of the money. So I said, so now it's like from your form you have paid. She said, yes, I have paid, but then I have issues. And the issue is that when you give me the next loan, I'm going to use it to settle and then pay back. And so I said, but then if that is the case, is this the first time it's happening? Because from your record, you've collected this loan about twice. This is the third time. She said, yes, I've collected it more than, it has always been like that. I said, but usually when we gather you so that you give us your experiences, you never said anything. You've never complained. Nobody has said they have problems with their loans. She said, yeah, my mother-in-law is part of the group. If I say anything, she might think I'm just trying to spoil her son's name. My sister-in-law is also there. Some would say my co-wife is there. I don't know whether what happened to me is also what happened to her. So you could see the levels of violation of women's rights there to even own property, income that is going to be beneficial to everybody in the home, but their own is also violated, that they cannot have money that is their own and free to also use it for various ventures, businesses that they want to try, because they are married, they have to account for every couple, whereas it's not the same thing with the man. So the right to own property is also a case that is being violated, the right that is being violated as far as women are concerned. And there's also this other woman that collected. We asked her how much. She said she wants only 150 naira. I said, no, the list is 200. She said, no, she doesn't want 200 naira. All she wants is uh, uh, 150. So I wrote a note on her folder so that I gave her the 150. So on the day of loans collection, I saw her helping other women to make up for their own shortfall. So they were able to pay back. At the end, she said, "No, I want you to come to my house so that you can collect my own loan from my own house." So I said, "Okay." So we went. And then in the house, when you are looking at a wealth ranking, what somebody wears, what somebody eats, the house they live in, all tells you the level of wealth or the level of affluence they have in the society. And I could see that she has a round heart, and actually, she falls at the poverty line. So we entered the house, and then she pushed her bamboo bed. She gave me a stool to sit down. She pushed the bamboo bed. She used her hoe and dug out some money, and about different bundles, 8 bundles. We counted. This woman has 8,000, and she said, "Can you help me spend my money, use it wisely? Because if anybody in the town, my husband and relations know that I have this money, there's going to be trouble. They will collect and not pay. My husband will collect, and at the end, there will be fight because he won't pay back. So can you help me?" So I gave her 3 days. And then after some thinking, I went back to the community to talk to her. I printed a loans form and then fill in some information. And I explained to her that without her 8,000, we're going to buy her a grinding mill for the village, because I noted that there's no grinding mill in the village. We'll buy her 2 bulls and a plow so that they could use it to plow and get money, use it also on their own farm. And then we'll tell the husband that we are trying out a new scheme. She was comfortable. So I say, "Okay, can you call your husband so that we can discuss?" The husband came and we had some discussions. And he said, after explanation, said, "You think this woman is brilliant enough that she can handle that money? You just want to put us in jail. Otherwise, how can you give this foolish woman money? You think, no, 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 no. Please, I don't want that." I told him that, "No, I have a copy of the loans form for you. I've signed at the end that if she's not able to pay in 6 months, I will come and carry what is left, and I've promised to make up for the difference so that it can be paid back. So you are not going to go into jail, go to jail." And I signed under it. I gave him. Well, we were lucky, he agreed. So on the right day we came to Bauchi, we did all the purchases. My Namaji, we bought the bull and the plow. And then they have the 6 weeks grace. So at the end of 6 weeks, they came together to pay the money. So he held the money because he thought she's not brilliant enough. She cannot keep that resources. So he kept it in his pocket. When they came, he gave me, we counted, I gave him a receipt with which I asked them to keep keeping. At the end of the loans, we'll count the receipts and the money and then certify that they have finished paying. So when we were going out, the woman excused that she wants to ease herself because that was what we agreed upon. Then she came back to my office because I looked at her and showed her where I kept the money. So when she came, she picked her money and put it in her inside the purse that women used to put money and then tie their wrapper on. And together they went home. They kept doing that for about 2 months. Finally, the husband came and said, "It's like my wife is becoming clever now. So I think I can trust her to bring the money, and then I think she will be able to come with the money." So instead of us wasting the money on taxes and whatever, so we will do that. Thank you so much. He was so appreciative. He was so happy that it's like now there are people to be reckoned with in the community. That they are now going to build a room for their kids. That now they are eating food with palm oil and things like that. So you can see this is a clear case of violation of her rights to own property. She has the money that could have brought them out of poverty for a long time, but she could not exercise it because the right is not even there for her to discuss with the husband. The dangers are all situated around her. There's no way she could come out and talk about it. And well, we are lucky to we have found each other, and then we put our heads together. And with that, the home was the first beneficiary. The husband is now the first beneficiary because things started changing in the home. So, well, because traditionally or culture, people will say, she doesn't have the right, or whatever it is, the wife is not supposed to be as rich as the husband. But what if he doesn't He is not somebody who thinks he wants to do business. She has the business skills. We've allowed culture to override many things that we do not want to use our head to provide solution and look at it critically and see who can do this. It's not an issue of culture saying that, I should be less than my husband. What if that is not his line of action? That is not his skill, and it is my skill. I feel culture should be reviewed so that we can look at all these violations that we hide under culture. And then at the end, people are poor. At the end, we cannot make ends meet, not because people are not brilliant or intelligent that they can do things, but because culture says that she has to be a lower. And people look at women owning property as a way that she will look down on the husband. I don't know, when I want to unpack this looking down, I find it difficult to situate myself to understand looking down on somebody. Am I going to ask him to carry me on his head around the town, or I don't know. I can't place it. So for me, the rights to own property is a fundamental human right that women should be allowed to own property. I know before the Beijing conference 1995, even if a woman wants to open a bank account, she has to get a consent letter from her husband, take it to the bank manager before her account is being opened. Even the tax, when it comes to tax relief, the rights for her to have her children, children's tax relief is not guaranteed. We fought all this along the way until now, that, well, the woman can also be relieved for 4 kids, just as the husband can be relieved for 4 kids. It goes on and on. It's so many, but we have just decided sort of to put it together as rights under torture, homicide. There's also the case of rape. In fact, that one we can spend the whole day trying to explain within the context of the effect of rape. I worked with UNICEF in Adamawa State during the days of insurgency, and it wasn't an easy thing. Sometimes I can come back home. I've lost appetite in eating because of the cases that I've handled at the IDP camp. You find women or girls that are married. After the insurgency, the soldiers have rescued them. When they come to the camp, the husband will say, no, he doesn't want her. We would ask why. Say, no, she has been in the Boko Haram enclave. So definitely they have slept with her. Somebody has slept with her. I don't want it again. And you just try to see, to explain. And more worse still, when she comes back pregnant, they say, hey, she's already pregnant for Boko Haram. No way. And the effect of that is that some women will give birth to kids. In 3-4 months, we have witnessed babies born and thrown over the fence at the IDP camps. It was so sad. We try to make our leaders understand that, okay, if she doesn't want to keep the child, if she doesn't want, we can help her give birth to the child. Somebody can adopt these children, because it's not the child's fault. The child didn't want, children do not want to come through that system, but the situation has made it. The woman herself doesn't want that to happen to her, because if the husband wants to divorce her, he doesn't want her now after she has been abducted. Is it her fault? He should have gone there to defend her, but he couldn't even defend himself. He ran away. So she wasn't very particularly lucky. And somebody has trampled on her right. And every effort we have made for the government to understand that, let's help them give birth, and then we can give up these children for adoption. People say no, because it does not affect them. So as far as they are concerned, they are duty bearers, but that is not for them an issue. So we keep doing things like that. And when we come up to talk about the rights of women, people think, here come gender activists, here come feminists. They label all sorts of names. instead of trying to understand when we talk about the right when it comes to issue of rape, the right when it comes to issue of molestation, sexual harassment. In some offices, it's a gory story to tell of women that cannot be promoted until they sleep with their bosses or they have to give certain things. I had a case of a police woman. She was pregnant and then she gave birth. So she took the baby to the orphanage. My friend was the one managing the orphanage. And she said the police are free to bring babies when they find abandoned babies. So she brought, after the baby was registered, she asked the director that, Mama, I want to speak to you personally. So she said, no, this baby is not an abandoned baby. It's my child. I said, how did that happen? She said, it's my boss, the DPO, who kept insisting that I have to sleep with him. And because it's a forced system, I can't say no. So I kept aborting. Now I'm just tired. So I decided to keep this one. And he said I should never call his name because he's already a married person. So as a supporter of women's rights, I was also called upon to have some discussions with her. And she said, well, the law in the force states that if she joins the force and before she's married, she cannot have a child. She cannot even adopt a child. So if her colleagues know that she has a baby, they can even report her. So that's why she decided to bring the baby to the orphanage. We collected the guy's phone number. We kept calling him. He said, no way. If she threatens, if she continues asking us to call him, he will not pick our phone and he's going to report her. And at the end, she's the one that's going to lose her job. And she herself wasn't strong enough to stand. We agreed we are going to pursue the case, but she kept begging us that she's okay. She doesn't want the case pursued. So we helped her with accommodation so that she relocated somewhere near the orphanage where the nannies in the orphanage can help her take care of the baby. And you see, this is official, but somebody is using the official instrument of work to make life difficult for somebody. We have all this at various places. So I would like my audience not to throw away the issue of the rights of women and girls. Don't just throw away the issue, but look at it critically. When somebody complains, when a woman complains or a girl complains that her right has been violated, let's look at it critically. Let's discuss it. Let's find out what is it, what are the issues, so that we can address it instead of throwing it that, people are just making noise where they're making an issue where there is no issue. Sorry, I want to stop here. Like I said, 10 minutes to that time. I hope what the little contribution I've said has helped people to understand the issues of women's rights and women and girls' rights, understanding their rights. Thank you, Shehu. Thank you for the opportunity.
Wow, it's amazing listening to you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow. Yes, I believe if I open up opportunities for questions,
I'm sorry, Shehu,
but I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, Shehu, I won't be able to answer your questions. But if tomorrow you don't mind, write down your questions, and then tomorrow I have something like 30 minutes that I can add to it so we can discuss. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. No problem.
So I'll go off because I want to get ready for my next meeting. The next one, I'm making presentation also. So I'm sorry about that.
Okay, no problem, man. We want to appreciate your coming and sharing. It's so inspiring. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You can go, man.
Bye.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's amazing listening to Mommy this afternoon. I'm sure all of you enjoyed the session, right? Wow, I can see epistles. Okay, I can see a lot of epistles. I can see the one from Mecca. Okay, the first call of justice system is police. Unfortunately, so often male-dominated police officers share the same attitude about crime against women. Often when women try to file complaints, they are ridiculed or abused. particularly the error case of sexual violence, and the case do not make it to court. When we say the only state Northeast without a VAP law, and among the 5 states without VAP absence. What are you doing regarding the issues? How can we assist governments who are not willing to take the issues of human rights seriously? In several occasions, money has been the issues. What is the society? Okay, amazing. I'm sure all of you enjoyed it. What you just do is send your questions, put down your questions, and then we'll see how Mommy can address them when she comes in tomorrow to take the session. So initially we wanted to take us to a plenary, but we realized that it wouldn't make sense to still engage us since the facilitator is not available. Let's spare our time, our data, so that when we come to add extra time tomorrow, it won't be a problem. What do you think, everyone? Should we go with the plenaries, or we should just end the class today? I think we should end the class today. We should end the class now so that we can prepare well for tomorrow. I'm sure the short 55 minutes lecture has been amazing, right? Let me see your feedback. Let me hear your feedback. So how is the 55 minutes lectures by Mrs. Anochi Yago? Okay, I want to see our reactions on the chat box. Okay, so let me launch the poll so that we can respond to the poll. I've launched the poll. Kindly respond to the poll as soon as possible. Then I'll give some announcements while the poll is ongoing. Okay. First, yeah, I can hear. See, please, Tajuddin. Okay. Yeah. So, can you all see? I've really say at a point, I was becoming emotional. What agenda passed through. Okay, thank you. So we have so much to do as change agents to enforce the rights of women and girls. These women, they are our sisters, they are our mothers, they are our friends. So we can't be watching them being molested in every way. So this is a call to us as men to become he or she champions, to defend the rights of women and girls everywhere we find ourselves, right? I'm sure that tomorrow will be one of the most inspiring days for you, right? So just take note of it. We'll be having amazing conversation tomorrow. Mama Anotia will be back again to talk about the issues of gender, the violence against women and against girls. And then Mrs. Susaya will also come and ginger us on the issue of women political participation. Thank you very much. So have you filled the poll? Yes. Only 43% have filled. Kamal says so many men see hardworking women as competition. That's right. Those are weak people. Generally, weak people don't like seeing strong people around them. But we have learned that only secure leaders give power to others. So I believe that all of us are not insecure leaders, we are secure leaders. Okay, so many of you must have seen the posts that we made today on our assignments, right? On our attendance, sorry. Okay, so Tijani is requesting for more clarification. We realized that we want everybody to graduate, but so we decided to relax the graduation criterion. Instead of the normal 85% of A's that you must have in your courses, we decided to make it 70% of B's and A's. Anybody below 70% of the class will not go through. Anybody with C and below, but had above 70%, you can still make it up. So all in all, we have 34 courses, right? For 34 topics that we're going to for, let me call it 34 various classes that we'll be having. And those classes are divided into 18 different sections that is spread across 6 weeks, right? So take note of that. As a result, we are making a review of how we're going to work. So if you scale it, if you have 85%, it means you have only missed class 3 times. When you miss 70%, it means you have only missed class 5 times. And we have said that if you miss class 6 times or 5 times, I think it's 6 times, right? You can remind me, please. So if you miss class at least 5 to 6 times, you have to do a makeup, and you have to make up at least 4 different classes to ensure that you pass. So we are still maintaining our 85% graduation, only that anybody that wants to graduate that not reach 85%, but is at 70%, you can go and do a makeup. When you do a makeup, then you pass the makeup to give opportunity to hit the 85% mark and still graduate. So it's a way of reviewing. In as much as we want to help a lot of us, we cannot lower the standard. Like I told you, this training is costing us a lot. And I'm sure that from the training you have seen that it's not a joke, it's not a child's play at all. The caliber of people who have been speaking to you and the depth of what they are sharing, know that it's not a joke, right? So I want to plead your indulgence that allow us to still maintain our standards and ensure that the quality of this thing doesn't drop. In fact, based on the demand for this program by many others who are not here, we are thinking maybe we'll sustain it instead of make it a yearly program. We think maybe we can take 2 cohorts per year. What do you think? So that we take 2 classes per year instead of taking only 1 class, right? Now, secondly, on your portal is actually a platform designed for you to access everything. For instance, you're supposed to access the link to your class on your portal. If you see it's there. But we understand that if we do that, many people will complain. That's why we share the link with you. So your portal is a platform that manages all the academic. For instance, your training video has been uploaded. Very shortly, your training slides will also be uploaded there. So it means you can have the training, do your makeup, and even do your tests and everything. But the real assessment we're going to be using is not the quiz on the portal. Last year, we used the quiz on the portal. We realized that you don't even need to do anything. You don't even need to attend class. Just for one day, just answer all the questions and put gone. And before you know it, you have scaled through 100% on the training portal. That is not our goal. The main training is on these Zoom sessions, the group sessions, and the out of Zoom activities that you are going to be implementing as a group. So take note of that, right? Now, we're also thinking of launching a program for you. Based on these things we have taught you and we are teaching you, we want to support few people who want to do a personal project. Like you want to do a personal project, like now you just heard about issues of violence against women and girls. You want to do something to stop it. You want to do something to raise their awareness. You want to do something in your community to stop it. You have learned about advocacy, community mobilization. You want to do something in your community along that line to stop a problem. You understand what I'm talking about? Based on this move, we want to give room to few of you who want to apply for the fund. So remind me on your WhatsApp page, let me share with you a form that I can use to fill and request for a token. The money we'll be giving you for any of these activities is a token. Take note, it's a token. I think it's 10,000 naira for people who have activities that aligns with what we want to achieve as in the Youth Civic Engagement Program 2022. So if you have an idea, I want to be part of it, you want to get a support, both support in terms of finances and technical support, you can fill it in and then you are going to be supported along that line. So I want to extend this support to you. Is that all right, everyone? So some people have still not filled the poll. Please fill the poll if you know you have not filled the poll. We're just at 73%. It means only 56 out of 70 something of you, 78 of you, 79 of you have filled the poll. Please fill the poll so that we can fix it up, right? Okay. So people are bringing me a lot of discussion. So they say we should do a debate. Okay, many people are saying we should do a debate. We should organize a debate on these issues. Okay, it's okay. So that's on a lighter note. So please take note on that. If you want to run a personal project, run it, and we're going to be supporting you to do that. Even if you want to do it as a group, let us know, and we're going to support you to do that. Yes, the poll is at 77%. Oh, it's still at the same number of people. Okay, so I will give room for one person to speak. Adamu Mohammed, please speak. We want to hear you now.
Hello, good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Hope you are all fine. Thank you so much for this wonderful program, sir. I really appreciate. The program is all really proved to be informative, because even at this stage of our progress in the course or in the program, we really acquired a lot of things that will shape our life entirely. And my question is on that issue of attendance and the courses on the portal. Is it necessary for those that are attending classes 100% to also do the courses on the portal and then conduct their tests? Or if you are attending the class, you need not to, is it not necessary for you to do that online courses?
Okay, so it's very important you do all. Like I told you, the Zoom meeting is very compulsory for everyone. Also, the portal is very compulsory for you. But if you observe, the major activity is on the Zoom world. On the portal is for us to know that, yes, I'm following, I'm going through the materials, I'm following scope of the materials. On the portal, we're supposed to also have a lot of, there's a forum there. Last year, we have a lot of forum discussions on the portal. So maybe this year, we can also have forum discussion. It's because we want to also monitor people's participation during classes. That's why we decided to focus more on group activities during the training. So like we told you, group activities are very compulsory. So the idea why we are taking note of Zoom is because we want to have daily record of people's participation, because that is key for us. So, but for you to graduate, you need to participate in all. Portal doesn't require so much, so we expect everyone also to have gone through the portal and completed. But for your graduation, you're going to be gauged or assessed mainly based on the Zoom records that we have and the reports from your group leaders that will come in soon on your activeness in the group work.
Okay, thank you so much. And I really appreciate what you have said at the end, that you are going to support individual project, because some of us have a project that they have researched, but they were unable to implement it. But with your support and assistance, I think they were able to execute it in their various communities, which will impact positively to the progress and development of underserved communities. I hope that you will implement what you have said now to extend the assistance to those that are ready to transform their societies. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adamu. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the class today. Once again, apologies that Mrs. Messi couldn't come up today. Some of you came late, but I just mentioned that she had an emergency flight to Canada. She was thinking she would return back to her base in US, just to realize that the flight was fixed for the class period. So apologies for that. We thought of shifting your class, but we know that it will cause a lot of inconvenience. So we rather decided that we're going to be shifting her. So she's going to be coming up tomorrow, God's willing. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your understanding. Enjoy yourself. Thank you. Do have a wonderful day, everyone. Have a nice day.